Alright, so today we're going to take a look at what's going to happen if all of the Christian countries unite in the modern day. This video is going to be very unrealistic. All the events that are going to happen are purely fictional, but yeah, make sure to subscribe to the channel, also to the second channel where I'm uploading Age of History 3 videos. But now let's get right into the video. Now this is very unrealistic. In the modern day, this would never ever happen. And I'm sorry if I missed any country here or colored a country wrong. You guys might be confused about Czechia and Estonia, but most of their populations are atheist. Well, the first thing that happens here is the Christian Union first sends ultimatum to Czechia and Estonia, demanding their annexation, and these guys really don't want a war with the entirety of the Christian Union. They go ahead and accept these ultimatums. The Christian Union does the same with Bosnia, Kosovo, and Albania. Kosovo and Albania accept the ultimatums. Bosnia says go F yourself, and then this happens. Yeah, now Bosnia is at war with the entirety of the Christian Union. So let's say the troops from the Christian Union now enter Bosnia, crushing all of the Bosnian armies. Their capital city was also captured, and with the destruction of their armies, the remaining parts of the country surrender as they could not fight this combined army. So yeah, after uniting all of Europe, not all of it, but most of Europe, they're going to be going down. Basically, Nigeria is like, it's kind of 50-50 between Muslims and Christians. I think Christians are 46% and the Muslims are in majority, but yeah, there are a lot of Christians living in the south. And in order to unite their lands in Africa, we can see that the Christian Union declares war on Nigeria. Yeah, let's see. We can see that the Christian Union armies now push in from the south, securing all of the coastal regions. The Nigerians are unable to push these guys back as they are heavily outnumbered. Eventually, we can see that they lose all of their coastline. The Christian Union now unites with this part, and now a combined army pushes up. Eventually, we can see that they were able to get to the capital city. Now, same as the case here, most of the Nigerian armies who faced the Christian army were destroyed. The Christian Union also had the support from the local populace here, as most of them are Christians in the south. Again, with that, the remaining parts of Nigeria surrender. The government falls, and all of Nigeria got completely annexed by the Christian Union. They decide to declare war on the Ivory Coast, but the Ivory Coast just surrenders without a fight. Again, there were some Christians living here, and they have expanded in a pretty good manner in Africa, but this is still not going to be enough. They shift their focus from Africa to Asia, where, yeah, they want to take all of Europe. Technically, this is also Europe. The Christian Union now wants to revive Constantinople and all of the post-Byzantine lands, for which now we can see that they declare war on Turkey. The Turks are biting their nails. An army this huge against their much smaller army. So yeah, now let's see. The Christian army now enters Turkey from the east. The Turks get obliterated in the west as they lose Gallipoli, they lose Constantinople, Istanbul, and the Christian armies now enter Asia from here, or Asia Minor. They also push in from here, securing all of these regions. Their main strategy is to actually destroy all of the country's armies and then kind of take over them right away. That's pretty much what they're doing right now. They get to the gates of Ankara, they take the capital city, but they continue pushing over here in the west, securing more and more regions and taking out all of their remaining Turk armies. Eventually, again, their strategy seems to be working. The country surrenders after losing most of their armies in the front lines. And by the way, I really don't think that the Christian Union would be very stable if it were to happen in real life, because there's Russia and the US in the same team, so that is going to be hard. But yeah, Turkey got completely annexed by the Christian Union, and the capital city, either it would be Rome, because it's a very significant city for the Christians, or it's going to be Constantinople. I don't know, but they've entered Asia now. They're not going to stop here. We can see that right away they declare war on Syria and Lebanon. But again, these guys make some smart moves. They both go ahead and surrender. Lebanon has some Christian populace. Syria also has some. That happened. But when all of this was happening, the only true remaining power was China, who was trying to unite all of these countries against the Christian Union so that one day they would form a coalition against the Christian Union. This does not at all sit well with the Christian Union. And before these guys could form a coalition against the Christian Union, we can see that the Christian Union right away declares war on China to eliminate the threat of a coalition being formed. Things might not be looking good for China as they don't have much support from anyone right now. So let's see. We can see that the Christian troops now enter from Russia, and they enter the Xinjiang province, securing a lot of regions as the Chinese were not prepared. Also because the Christian army it's huge and is also much better than the Chinese army, as a lot of it comes from the US. They also enter from Manchuria, securing all of these regions, pushing down and connecting to the sea. We can see that at the same time, the much superior Russian and the US Navy arrives on the coast. They make a naval landing down here, and even though there's going to be a lot of casualties in this war, Christian numbers are just too much. The Chinese are very much overwhelmed right now. They concentrate most of their troops over here because these guys might just get to Beijing. But even down in the south, because most of the Chinese troops are up here, the Christian armies push around, securing the highly populated regions of China. In the east, yeah, unfortunate news arrives. Xinjiang declares its independence during the heat of the battle, and things are about to get worse. Tibet also declares its independence. This is all a huge news for China, even though there's not many people living here, but that's a significant portion of their country. Down in the south, the push continues as the Chinese lose more and more territory. They lose factories and their economy is also going down. But a huge army arrives from Russia, which is very big. Not just Russian, but the US armies too. Everyone sends their troops. This new army now pushes in, and eventually we can see that after a very bloody battle, Beijing was captured. But this is not the end of China. The troops in the south continue, destroying more and more Chinese armies. These guys also push in, cutting off Manchuria from mainland China, which then had to surrender. The troops in the east make a push, and they kinda, split China into two, after which the southern parts surrender. And at this point in the war, after pretty much losing all of their armies, realizing that they cannot win this war, after knowing that they're not going to get completely annexed, the remaining parts of China go ahead and surrender. And this is going to be a very interesting peace negotiation. So now let's see. Okay, so in a peace negotiation, we can see that all of Manchuria was completely annexed. These provinces were given their independence, even with more land. Some of these parts were annexed, and there's now a pro-Christian Union government installed in China, which is not like a puppet government, but it still works under the Christian Union. At this point, everybody else is just hopeless. They saw the second strongest country in the world get absolutely destroyed by the Christian Union. Yeah, everybody is scared. We can see that the Christian Union kind of wants to revive the Soviet Union. Well, the Soviet Union for the Russian province, for which they send out ultimatums to the Central Asian countries. They all pretty much accept. I mean, who would want a war with the Christian Union after whatever happened? And boom, that is a lot more land. The world is now falling to the Christian Union. Now we can see that there are going to be some unifications which are going to take place because of whatever is going on. Yeah, let's see. And if we take a look at these unifications, we can see that Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran, they all united. There's this Middle Eastern Union, also a North African Union, basically just to be able to secure themselves against the wrath of the Christian Union. But at this point, pretty much everyone accept their sovereignty. At least these countries feel secure for now. But over here in the Middle East, the Christian Union, they just haven't had enough of it. They continue with this expansion, declaring war on Iraq, which says no, they will not accept any ultimatum, neither will they surrender. Oh, they surrendered. Yeah, after all of this, all these three major unions, they come together and they say to each other that we have one final chance against the Christian Union. If they declare war on us, they're gonna take us out like dominoes, but if we form a coalition against them, we might be able to win. And just like that, we can see that a coalition is now formed. A Muslim coalition. The Christians were planning on capturing Jerusalem now, but now they have to deal with this. Yeah, let's see. Oh, actually, I feel like this video has become very long, and it'd be very cool if I made a part 2 on this video. But for that, I want you guys to subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.